guys, it's Scott here and welcome to Leicester Till I Die TV. This is the second episode of the weekly roundup where we talk about all things Leicester City. Today we are going to be doing a bit of transfer talk again, as obviously the transfer window is still open for a few more weeks, and then a preview of the Premier League season. I want your feedback in the comment section down below, so if you do have any thoughts on the transfer news or your own thoughts on our Premier League season coming and starting very, very soon, please do leave them in the comments section. If you do enjoy the video as well, make sure that you hit the like button, the thumbs up, whatever you want to call it, and subscribe if you want to see not only this series, but other Leicester Till I Die videos as well. Now, without further ado, let's get into the transfer news for this week. So first things first, James Tarkowski is interesting, to say the least. Ourselves and West Ham are apparently interested in signing him. Now, we have tracked him for many years, and we actually tried to pick him up last summer after we sold Harry Maguire. However, Burnley were asking for 50 million. Now, it has been revealed that he has a 50 mil release clause, but only for Man U, Man City and Liverpool. Now, whether that means that it is possible for us to pick him up for 30, 35 mil, something like that, we don't really know. However, West Ham have definitely put in a bid for roughly 27 million, and it was rejected. They were told that it was not enough. We are apparently still interested and maybe looking to try and put in a 30 mil bid. I just don't know with this one. I think that if Burnley are going to actually just keep pushing us and pushing us, that it might be worth looking at our next target, which is Wesley Fofana, the Saint Etienne centre-back, again managed by Claude Puel. We talked about him a little bit last week, and there are more and more rumours coming out about him going forward. Obviously, social media activity was all over the place. He followed, unfollowed us, Papi Mendy and everything like that on Twitter, Instagram, etc. Now he's deleted his accounts. Apparently, they are asking for about 30 million euros. We are willing to bid about 25 million. Now, in my mind, if someone is that high up on your transfer targets and you see them being part of your squad for the next few years, surely you just pay that little bit more, right? It seems simple. But that is apparently the stumbling block. Now, it has emerged. Ryan Fraser has gone to Newcastle. He knew he was going there as soon as the season finished. Yet it's taken until the last week for them to finalise a deal between the two. That's how long it can take for the clubs to agree, even if the player's like, yeah, I'm going. I'm down with that. Let's do it. So it could be the case that Fofana followed us on everything because he agreed personal terms. And he thought, okay, I'm going there. Whereas the clubs are still yet to agree. It's the same thing that happened with Havertz at Chelsea. They agreed personal terms weeks ago. Yet it's only very recently that Leverkusen and Chelsea finally got that fee sorted out. So this one looks like it could potentially happen, and I'd be very, very surprised if at the end of this transfer window we have not signed either Fofana or Tarkowski. Next up, we're going to go with Depaul from Udinese. Now, this one's going to be a very, very brief one because I don't really think there's anything in this. Leeds and ourselves are apparently very interested in signing him. He is more of a centre mid, sort of a Yuri Madison kind of player. Sometimes eases out to the right, but is mainly a central player. They're asking for 40 million euros. I'd be amazed. I don't feel like we have any reason to spend that amount of money on that position when that is probably our best position in our team. So I feel like this one, let's pour cold water over it. Let's move on. Now, the big position that everyone has been asking for years, right-sided winger. There are a couple of options that Leicester are apparently interested in that we are potentially going to bid or buy in this transfer window. First up is David Brooks of Bournemouth. Now, stumbling blocks here. Apparently, we are ready to offer 25 or 30 mil for him, but they want about 40. Whether they would get that much out of him, I really, really don't know. Yes, he's young, he's Premier League proven, he's very good on the ball, he has great vision, he cuts in from the right onto his left foot and can bang them in. He has great vision and build-up play and everything like that, and he would fit our style. He also fits Leicester's ideal transfer policy of buying people that are not completely unknown, but relatively ready to make the jump or the leap to the Premier League level. It was a bit different when we had just come up to the Premier League and stuff like that, but now we are pretty much established as a team that is pushing to try and break that top 6 year after year. That's our aim in the division. So we've now got to try and sign players that we think would be good enough for that level. And David Brooks, I feel he fits what we want. We want someone on the right that can link up with whoever's playing right back until Ricky P's back, but also link up with midfield, provide assists and goals. Because right now, we have Demarai Gray out there, who doesn't really do anything when he starts games, or Albrighton, who, yeah, the less said about that, the better. So David Brooks fits what we want. He's young enough that we could potentially nurture him, sell him on in a few years if he becomes an absolute monster. That seems to be the Leicester way. You buy players young enough that you can get a good few years out of them, but then, hey, if a massive team comes in and wants to bid 80 mil or something like that, sure, you can have them, right? We signed them for like 20, or in this case, maybe like 30. If you want to sign them for over double that, okay. We got 3 good years out of him. That's fine with us. So I feel like David Brooks fits exactly what we want in terms of a player, but also in terms of a business side of things, potentially future-proofing ourselves ready for a sale in the future. Next is Ounas, who plays for Napoli. And, hey, he's an Algerian left-footed right winger. Remind you of anyone? Rashid, right? That's the first name that comes to your head. Gazelle. Great player. So, would this be another Gazelle situation? I've watched a little bit of him, and I don't think so. I feel like he has a lot of potential, is a talent, and it is just whether he could come into the Premier League and be a bit less raw in the way that he plays and sort of hone his talents into more of a team player role where he does try and link up a little bit more with other players. Now, the thing is, if you are a bit selfish and greedy on the ball, that's fine if you can pull it off, like Mahrez, right? A lot of the time he could have passed it, but instead he will try and beat a man. And he would do it because he was incredible. Whereas, if someone like Demarai Gray has an option to pass a ball or try and beat a man, in your head, I imagine you're the same as me. You would always want him to pass that ball because you don't have faith in him beating the man and then whipping it across or something like that. Whereas, this guy looks like he could be the real deal. We are apparently trying to get him for less than 10 mil, whereas they want about 15, which isn't that much. And if the club really, really think that he could be the guy to come in on the right side and be that cutting in forward that can potentially move into the middle at times as well, just pay it, right? We've been crying out for someone to replace Mahrez ever since he left. And that's what, 3-4 years ago at this stage? Get somebody in. And the last one that we're going to look at today is Gabriel Barbosa. We've been linked with him in the past. Now, some of you may not know much about him, so let me quickly brief you. He was in Brazil, did really, really well. He then had a foray into Europe through Inter Milan, Benfica. He didn't play that much, and when he did, he didn't do that great. One of the reasons he didn't play that much is he apparently has a stinking attitude problem. He will get in arguments all the time. He will be frustrated at not being played, and so kick up a fuss, which will then make him not be played, and it just goes in a circle. So he does have those kind of problems. He is pretty good, though. He's got technical ability, and he is a goal scorer that can either play up front or on the right. Now, some of you may sort of recognize his name, but not really, and you might not know why. It could potentially be because of the Brazilian final that happened a few months ago. He won them the game by scoring 2 goals in the last 5 minutes before getting sent off. So, it pretty much sums him up. He has the talent, but he's very hot-headed. Now, the question is whether the club feel that you would sacrifice having someone a little less talented but more level-headed, like a David Brooks, for someone that has that flair but may cause a few disruptions. I personally don't think that we would take the risk because of having a few players that have been a little bit like it in the past. Riyad in his later years, I guess, caused a few disruptions. Apparently Cambiasso did a bit. Slimani, because he thought that he was going to be the guy and play a lot more, and then he's ended up being shipped out on loan a lot. So I don't think that we'd go down this route, but it would be very interesting, and it definitely would be a marquee signing if we did pull it off. So that is it for the transfer portion. Let's get into a little bit of the league prediction. So I want your thoughts. If the transfer window closed today, clubs were not able to buy anyone, not even loan anyone, squads were set in stone, where do you think that we would finish this season? Leave it in the comments section. I, on my own channel, which will be linked in the description, did my Premier League predictions. I put as 10th, which I'm sad that I feel that that is probably where we're going to end up. I think we'll get top half, but I think we'll finish anywhere between 7th and 10th. I think that we're going into this season with multiple injuries. Maddison and Ricky P are huge for us. Ricky P's out for a month or two. Maddison's not going to be back for a few weeks. Evans is suspended for the first couple of games. I couldn't tell you what formation we're going to play. I couldn't tell you our starting 11 going into this season. I don't know whether we're going to play 4-2-3-1, 3-4-1-2. No idea. And that scares me massively because before, like last season, the buzz around the season starting, I don't know about you, but I had a lot of faith. I thought we were going to do really, really well last season. So I gambled on us finishing top 6 and also top 4. I saw what the other clubs were doing in the transfer market, and I didn't think that they'd done enough to do better than us based on the squad that we had, the manager we had, the managers they had. I thought we were in a good position. And my predictions were right until it turned to 2020. And then we started going downhill. Our form went off a cliff and was near relegation level for the entirety of the 2020 calendar year. So the problem is, this year, I think the season is starting so quickly after the previous one is finished. They've not had that long break to clear their heads. We've not had a pre-season training camp out in Austria or something like that where they can go, relax, get ready, get everyone back in the squad together, get that collective mindset of, we go again. We haven't had that. And it's been even more broken up with a pre-season that's all over the place, with people having to quarantine after going on holiday for too long or to different places that meant that they had to isolate, and so they haven't been in pre-season training and games that they should have been. But also the internationals have completely broken up pre-season as well. So instead of our squad training together for the last 2 weeks, half of them have been out playing games. Now, it's good for people like Tielemans, Pratt and Castan, who are playing together and training together. That's good, they can get a bit of chemistry. But when everyone else is elsewhere, it doesn't really help us or benefit us. Now, I do know that this is the case for every other Premier League team, right? However, our players' mindset and just situation after the downfall that we had is not going to be the same as those other clubs. I feel like it's going to be very hard for people at the club, whether it be players, managers, staff, etc., to get over what happened in the second half of last season. I really hope that I'm wrong. I hope that they can wipe the slate clean and just be like, okay, here we go. We know how good we can be as a team. We know how good we are as a squad. Let's smash this out the park this season and show we are here to stay. We are going to be a big boy team. We can push top 6 year after year after year. We can do well in the Europa League. We can push in the other cup competitions. That's what I want to see. But I really don't feel that buzz that I normally get at the start of the season. I think this is the first time in my life I would happily see the start of the season delayed. Because I don't think we're ready. And it scares me. Luckily, we do have some good home fixtures to start off the season. They're not outrageously bad. So maybe we can get a bit of a confidence boost. Get a few results under our belts, first few weeks, and be a bit more confident and comfortable. Thinking, okay, we know we're good. We've got a few wins. Let's push on. Let's get a win against a big boy. And then, who knows where we'll go. But I want your thoughts. If the transfer window shuts today, where are we finishing? Are you confident about the season ahead? What do you think of the transfer rumours? Do you think we're going to bring any of the players in that I mentioned today? Do you think someone else that I didn't mention is going to be brought in? And just give me your general thoughts on these videos as a whole. My name is Scott. You can find me at the link in the description. But make sure that if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new and want to see more Leicester Till I Die TV, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.